What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotics, bringing you our draft analysis for Season 5 of the APA Academy. I am super excited for this because for the first time in a very long time, we are going to be doing something different. It is not standard, it is not Little Cup, it is not Ubers, it is low tier. Low tier is a super interesting format with tons of really unique Pokemon that get a much better light to shine in. And I really like the format in terms of the competitiveness, in terms of the different options that you get, and people really try out some brand new things, which is really cool. I may or may not be trying some brand new things, but at the same time, it's interesting because I've never actually really dived deep into low tier. So I needed a lot of help from my front office. So shout out to them for the help for this week, but for this season, for the draft. This was a points draft. We did have a limited number of points to be able to draft with our team. I believe the limit that we had was like 100 points or something along the lines, or 120 points, something like that. I could be wrong on that, but that's ish what it was. So that's what it was again. The points ranged from, I believe, 16 down to 1, of course. We had to pick 11 Pokemon. That was a must, and we had 11 rounds. So we were sat at, I believe, the 14th overall pick, if I'm not mistaken, which, I mean, it's okay, but I was really hoping to get a better pick. We were the 13th pick, excuse me. I was hoping to get a better pick because there was a really broken core that I want to get. And you guys see on the right, there's a potential pick section, which I'm going to be going over a bit in a bit. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that I kind of show you what my thought process was, what our thought process was as a group, so we'd have an idea of, okay, this is what we were looking for in this point of the draft, and then we ended up going this route instead because of these reasons. Now guys, if you have not already, do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and of course comment your thoughts on the team down below as the fan goes out. Now of course, I do need to make this clear. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We cannot get there without you. This is a Wi-Fi league. I know you guys enjoy that type of thing, live comms, so make sure to stick around, all right? But let's go ahead and jump into it with the potential first picks that we were getting. Now, these are the mons we were looking at, okay? Gardevoir, Crobat, Sharpedo, Indeedee, and Noivern. Number one was definitely Crobat. I really wanted that. Actually, it was gonna be getting to me. I believe it went actually the pick before mine, so that really does suck. But what I was hoping to get more than just Crobat would be the pairing of Indeedee and Sharpedo, and I was really hoping to get them. Sharpedo I knew could wait, but Indeedee, that was definitely a possibility that I had to get right away because terrain in this format is incredible. Its speed at base 95 is really good. Unfortunately for us, it did get sniped, so we did end up going with Gardevoir as our first pick. Now, Gardevoir provides us with a great speed tier start off at base 80. It gives us access to Teleport as well with Wish and Heal Bell as well. Its stab options are incredible. Moonblast, Psychic, Psyshock, gets access to Draining Kiss, I believe now. Mystical Fire this generation 2, gets Electric moves and Thunderbolt and Shockwave if need be. So it's honestly, it's solid all around. It's just a really hard hitter with, I believe, 125 special attack. It's phenomenal in the format, and really the only thing they're going to check these are going to be steals. So we want to make sure we have a really good answer to steel type, a couple really good answers to steel types, because Gardevoir can really just decimate teams all on its own if given the right circumstances, whether it's Choice Scarf or Calm Mind or Specs or Life Orb, or even just a support set with Wish and Heal Bell and Protect. I've seen all do work, and it's a very good mon. Honestly, it's a mon that I haven't done super well with, but it is a Pokemon that I have won a title with in the BBR. So hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully we can actually replicate that success we had with Gardevoir in the past, because I really think Gardevoir will need to be one of the better Pokemon for us this season. If it isn't going to be living up to the first pick expectation for us, we're probably not going to be doing very well, but our team is very balanced, so we'll see what happens. Regardless, Gardevoir gives us a really good start with an amazing Fairy type off the bat, a Dragon Killer, something that really only needs to be broken, or really needs to be, how do I phrase this? It really only needs Steel types to be broken down for it to be super successful, and really, our team does that very well, so you're going to see. But look at some of the potential picks to pair with this. Indeedee went before this, so I couldn't go Indeedee. I really wanted that. Sharpedo was still in my mind because Flip Turn, it's a Dark type that's really good. It resists fight, or it's weak to fighting, that Gardevoir 4 times resists, so I felt like that would be a solid pairing there. But in the end, we decided to go with a different option, and it's going to be one of the two picks over here, and that is going to be Swampert. Now, Swampert is making its return for the BBR, or from the BBR. Reason I decided to go Swampert is because this is one of those Pokemon that I felt I could run really offensively and played with really well in the BBR. The reason I decided to actually say, you know what, it's worthy of my second pick here is because, one, it provides us with that ground type that'll destroy opposing steel types for Gardevoir, but it also gives me Flip Turn, which is very nice, but it gives me a bulky pivot, which just plays my playstyle very well. So we want to go with that option. Stealth Rocks as well, early on, is going to be useful for me. It's only weak to grass as well, which Gardevoir isn't weak to, and if I compare this thing with like a couple other Pokemon that might be resist grass, it could be very, very dangerous to deal with. And at the same time, I loved trying to use at least offensive Swampert with Choice Band or Choice Scarf. I decided to try some offensive sets as well, like the Bulk Up set you guys saw. It's a really cool Pokemon. I really like it. So honestly, if it did not get Flip Turn, I don't think I would be liking it. I don't think I would have drafted it at all, but it is still really good with Flip Turn. It doesn't get any recovery, which does suck, but Swampert does get the Wish support from the Gardevoir, which is super, super appreciated. There we go. And it's just one of the better Pokemon I'm more comfortable with, especially in the low tier, because I'm not very comfortable with the format. I want to make sure I got Pokemon I was comfortable with, so I apologize. There are going to be some repeating Pokemon here from previous seasons of leagues, but it is what it is. We do have to make sure we are successful, and I'll get the opportunity to try out new things as well, but I want them to be supported by some comfort picks, which Swampert definitely provides me. Now after this, you guys see there, Moltres and Toxicroak are in my potential picks there. I really didn't know what I wanted here. I was hoping Moltres got back to me, but it was super, super unlikely. Reason for that is Moltres is, I believe it was 15 points, and it got tons of really good suitors for it. I mean, it's a fire flying type with boots. It makes super great sense to have on a team. Momentum is fantastic, and it would have been perfect for us because it actually 4 times resists grass. But hey, Toxicroak is there, and Toxicroak gives us a grounded poison. It doesn't give us Toxic Spikes, doesn't give us that, which sucks, but it gives us Water Absorb, not Water Absorb, but Dry Skin, which is super nice because having access to Dry Skin on a team with Swampert as my water type is phenomenal, because I run into this problem with the BBR, but in BBR, my water resist was Thwacky, and that's it. So I don't feel like that was the best solution. So having a Pokemon that has a water immunity with Swampert is going to be very nice. Regardless, in the end, we ended up going with Moltres. Yeah, you guys saw the thumbnail. Moltres in the thumbnail. Of course we got it, but that is a phenomenal pairing. Swampert and Moltres making the return from BBR Season 3. Guys, this Pokemon, this pairing is amazing. The momentum they bring for each other, the fact that one gets Defog, one gets Stealth Rocks, they both can switch into each other very effectively, resist each other's moves extremely well. Like, Moltres is weak to Water, Electric, what else? Rock, and Water, Electric, Rock, and is that it? I could be it. I'm pretty sure that's it. And yeah, and Swampert is weak to Grass. Swampert is immune to Electric. It resists Rock, and Moltres is 4 times resistant to Grass. The only area that there's some weakness is in the the water coverage, because Swampert is not resisting water, it's hit neutrally by it. Regardless, the fact that we have a Pokemon now with 90 base speed, it gives us a speed tier higher than Gardevoir's. We're slowly building our speed up, slowly but surely, and it gives us more momentum that our team really appreciates, because if we can get the Gardevoir more often, it's phenomenal for us. And at the same time, at the very beginning, I said the team that we're going to be getting, the teams that are giving us the most amount of trouble, the teams that are going to cause so much problems for us, is going to be teams with good steel types, and those are going to be causing problems for Gardevoir. With Swampert and Moltres, those steel types aren't going to be too much of a problem for us, and most people took their steel types early, and the reason for that is because there's really a limited pool of steel types in the format. There really aren't many good ones. Like, you think of the good ones here, Excadrill, Celesteela, you think of Pokemon like, what else am I thinking of? I'm trying to think, Bisharp even. Like, these Pokemon are too good for this format, so the steel type pool is limited. But it's okay, we'll figure it out. But at the same time, Moltres gives me such an offensive breaker. One of my favorite sets about Moltres, one of my favorite things about Moltres in general, is that it can be so bulky, take so many different hits, and I can still slap on a Modest Nature or a Timid Nature, outspeed everything or hit things super hard. At the end of the day, I would love to run this thing more offensive than I did in the BBR, and I think with the fact that this is low tier, I definitely can. So guys, Firewall is back, Jill is back. Make sure to smash the like button for them because they are crazy Pokemon. The pairing is phenomenal, and you guys seen the potential picks. I'm hoping for Vikavolt. Vikavolt would be phenomenal for this. Could you imagine a pairing of Vikavolt with Swampert and Moltres? Like, Vikavolt destroys the the water types for Swampert and Moltres. It destroys the grass types for Swampert as well. I think this is just a phenomenal pairing, and it'd be really, really good, especially because it's another ground immunity on top of that. Unfortunately, it got sniped, and I really hate that it did because it would have been so good for our team. But it did show us something that was going to be a little bit better for us, and I'm going to take a sip of water before I mention that. The Pokemon that is going to be better for us, I mentioned kind of a little bit of it before, is going to be Heliolisk. Now, Heliolisk is phenomenal for us because of Dry Skin. Now, we wouldn't have had this opportunity if Vikavolt got sniped. I definitely would have taken Vikavolt here. But Heliolisk gives me a Pokemon with 108 base speed, or 109, something like that. 108 or 109. I believe it's 109. And it gives us a Dry Skin, which is amazing because I now have a water immunity, which my team desperately appreciates in these first 4 picks. Other than that, an electric type, which can destroy those water types, is great for us. It also gives me access to a move like Surf, gives me Dark Pulse, gives me Grass Knot, Hyper Voice as well, hits super hard. Basically, it's a way to hit pretty much everything I need it to. At the same time, we can Volt Switch out of really poor matchups and get into our Moltres to deal with some grass types that might want to come in and take hits from the Heliolisk. I think it's a really solid Pokemon for us. It just provides us with such utility, giving us U-Turn and Volt Switch. There aren't many Pokemon that get U-Turn and Volt Switch. I believe there's like 5 or 6 of them that get U-Turn or Volt Switch, which is very, very good for us. So we actually have that in the back, which is nice to have, because if we're stuck getting walled off with Volt Switch, we have the opportunity now to run Thunderbolt, U-Turn, coverage moves, and we're good to go. And with Dry Skin, we're set. It's bulky enough on the special side with the Eviolite, not the Eviolite, but the what am I saying? With the Assault Vest to take many hits. I've had that set run against me before. It gets Scale Shot now as well to boost its speed. So there's a couple different sets that we can run. I'm excited to use Heliolisk. I don't think I've ever used it before, or at least if I used it, it wasn't very long or very often. So at the end of the day, I'm pretty excited to see what we can do with Heliolisk. I think it's going to be a phenomenal Pokemon for us. It's going to pair really well. It is weak to fighting, but we do have a Moltres with Flame Body, and we do have Gardevoir, which 4 times resist fighting. It is weak to ground, which, I mean, we have an immunity in our Moltres, and we're hoping and working on getting more resists and answers to ground type. So we'll see what happens, but let's go ahead and jump into our next Mon, which you guys see here. It's looking like it's going to be one of these 3 Pokemon. I really wanted a grounded poison type. If you guys saw in BBR, now, BBR was fun. It really was. I'm actually recording this before, I mean, I'm not going to see it, but this is before the semifinal battle goes up, okay? So I'm recording this before that, and Toxic Spikes have been a pain in my ass the entire season because I don't have a grounded poison type. My poison type was Haunter. So I really want to have something that could absorb Toxic Spikes. And at the same time, I kind of want something that could set it. And the only thing on this list that does that is going to be Roselia. But I really, really like Toxic Croak. It's just a little bit expensive. As a fighting type, it's good. The thing with this is fighting types, I could kind of wait on the fighting types a little bit. And you're going to see that later. Other than that, though, there was Vileplume. Vileplume was, I believe, 1 point more than Roselia. I think it was 6 points and Roselia was 5. And it gave me recovery in Moonlight, of course. It gave me Strength Sap. It gave me pretty good offensive stats as well with my special attack. I believe it also gets like Moonblast and Sludge Bomb and stuff like that, and Pollen Puff, which is pretty good coverage. Doesn't really hit Steals too much, but look at our team. We kind of destroy Steals right now, which is amazing for us. So what I decided to do was say, you know what? I missed out on this in BBR, and I think my core would really appreciate having this as well. So we're going to go with getting Roselia because of Toxic Spikes and Spikes. That is the biggest reason we got Roselia specifically. Also, for 5 points, Roselia is very, very good. I think it's a really good Pokemon, and I'm hoping that we can kind of use it effectively. We used it as well, I believe, in, I don't know if it was BBR Season 2, or it might have been in, no, that was Rosa Raid. I think it was maybe in NCP Season 3. I think that's when we used Roselia, and we used it effectively. We used it well. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun Pokemon to use. I arguably use it better than Rosa Raid, excuse me, which is crazy. But Roselia still has 100 base special attack. Its speed is pretty poor, but it gets Toxic Spikes and Spikes. It absorbs Toxic Spikes for me, gets Synthesis, gets Aromatherapy, decent coverage options, Shadow Ball, Extra Sensory I believe it gets as well, Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain and Leaf Storm, all these moves are great. I think Roselia really provides me with a good special sponge that can take many hits. With the Violet, it is just so damn bulky, so I felt like it was going to be fitting to have it on my team. It is also a 4 times resistance to grass to help out again with Swampert and Moltres, which is nice. It is a resistant to water, so that helps out with Swampert and Moltres as well. It's another resist to fighting, so again, it takes a bit of pressure off of Gardevoir and Moltres. All in all, our types here are very standard. They're the common types that you expect to see, but we still have some problems to deal with. And looking at the potential picks, we're going to try and fix those. Now, before I mentioned that fighting types are going to be good, they're important to get. Now, the reason I want to mention that, and the reason I have Girder and Machamp here, is because these are 2 Pokemon that I believe my team could really, really appreciate having on the roster. They're really good. Machamp is a bit more expensive than Girder, but they're just so good. I loved using Machamp in the IBL. Girder I had a little bit on the team from the season before that when I took over, but it gets defog now, which is nice. It's also much better because it gets priority with Mach Punch, which is amazing, and they both get Guts, which is great. But I think that at this point in time, there was like 3 other fighting types that I could have gotten. These were just my preferences. I think it was like Starfeesh or something as well, and I could have gotten that too. But I think at this point, there was only 5 teams, including myself, that didn't have a fighting type. So I could wait. I could wait and wait and wait because I would guarantee get one fighting type that I was interested in. So I waited. And because of that, we ended up going with a steel type next, being Berserker or Klinklang. And we had a really tough decision deciding which one we want to go with. The reason we wanted to get one of these two was because they both get momentum. One gets Volt Switch, one gets U-Turn. Neither of them gets Stealth Rocks, which hurts because at this point my only rocker is Swampert. But the steel type pool was just dwindling and not being really good. So they're both 5 points. We had to get one of them because we want to make sure we had an out to fairy types. We want to make sure we had an immunity to poison types as well. Just a steel type was going to be very important for me. And in the end, we decided to go with Berserker. Now, Berserker is a mon I have never used. I used Klinklang in the past in like ICBA in like season 5 or something. We didn't use it that well. We shift geared up and died basically. And that's kind of what it did. After talking to Tone, and Tone is apparently a master in PU, Berserker is pretty good there because it's a very offensive Pokemon with like Choice Band, or it's a great pivot with an Assault Vest. And that's exactly what I can see Berserker doing for us. It gets decent coverage options. It gets like Seed Bomb, it gets like Shadow Claw, it gets Iron Head, it gets Play Rough, I believe, as well. It gets U-Turn too, so we can just U-Turn out into things, get momentum, and then when we need to recover it up, we have Gardevoir with Wish. We have Leaf Seed with Roselia. So we have a couple options to recover up the Berserker. Not the best thing in the world, it's only 5 points, but for what it provides us, it's very valuable, and I'll definitely take advantage of that. Moving forward again, we still have the fighting types, but we also have now our dark and our dark types. We have something that we kind of want to either get a bit more speed with Persian, or we want to have a bit more offensive firepower with the Zoroark. I used Persian really recently, wanted to get it. I think that was actually going to be the best fit for me, but Persian did go first, so we did end up going with the Zoroark. Now, Zoroark was a phenomenal Pokemon, guys. If you guys missed the Game of the Week from Ocean League, make sure you go and check it out because it is crazy, and I swear, I drafted the team before that went up. You're going to see. It is just crazy, crazy, crazy. Zoroark with Disguise can be very threatening, especially with my defensive core. Are they going to be immune to ground moves with Moltres? Are they going to be immune to electric moves with Swampert? Are they going to be immune to water and what am I saying? Water and ghost moves with Heliolisk? Are they immune to poison moves with Berserker? Are they immune to dragon moves with Gardevoir? We have so many immunities on our team so far. What's Zoroark going to do? It's going to add to that. Now it's a psychic immunity. Gives us priority with Sucker Punch. Gives us more U-Turn. The Disguise can be really cool if played well. It's going to be something that I really practice with and try and get good at, and maybe a work in progress to begin with, but this is a short season, so we were going to have to work on it pretty quickly. But its coverage is great, it gets setup options in Nasty Plot, priority is nice, it can be so powerful. It gets not Seismic Toss, am I saying, Swords Dance, that's it, and an offensive set, a physically offensive set can be very, very scary too. Honestly, I think Zoroark is a phenomenal Pokemon. It's Pokemon I wanted to draft, I think, last season, and BBR in Season 2, and we ended up winning the title there, so it doesn't matter, but I really want to use that. I thought it was going to be phenomenal on my team. This season here, I'm thinking it's going to be really good for us too. It is 12 points. I believe it's the most expensive mon we have left on our roster after the first 4, so it's going to be good for us. It better be, and it's going to form a nasty core. Like at this point, the only Pokemon on my team that does not have any momentum is Roselia. That's it. Everything else does, and that kind of plays right into my playstyle. Momentum, momentum, momentum. Make sure I can do damage again to a better position and just go for game that way, and that's what I do. So I'm hoping that this team can do that for me. Zoroark's going to be phenomenal. Again, moving on to our potential picks for next up, I really want to get a bug type here, and not necessarily any bug type, okay, not just because it was a bug type, but I want to have something that gave me rocks. I also would really like to have webs. I was kind of deciding, like, is it more important to have rocks and webs with Shuckle? Is it more important to just have webs with momentum in Charger Bug? Is it more important to have rocks with Shell Smash on Crustle? What was the best choice for me? In the end, we decided to go with Shuckle. Now, Shuckle for 2 points is a steal. That is why. It is a steal. No reason Shuckle should be 2 points. None at all. So if you guys see a Shuckle for 2 points, there is definitely a bad reason for it. This thing does kind of get shut down by Taunt. Not the end of the world. You can run a Mental Herb. You can switch out if you need to. But you do get access to not Spikes, what am I saying? You do get access to Stealth Rocks and Sticky Web. You also get access to one of the weirdest, craziest sets that just works well. And if you guys don't like competitive Pokemon, cover your ears, okay? But this set is insane. It's a really good one. It is Contrary Shuckle with Shell Smash, Toxic, Rest, and Infestation. It's a broken set. It is so good. If they don't prepare for it, it can just win a game all on its own, and it's really phenomenal how it can do that. If your opponent has a Steel type that doesn't have recovery, this can work. If your opponent doesn't bring setup options, this could work. If your opponent doesn't have a steel type in general and you can toxic everything, that can work. So it's a really, really cool set. Also, the craziest sweep I saw with Zoroark and Shuckle was involved with in the game of the week from week 3, or week 4, excuse me. Just go back and check that out. It went up on Wednesday. You're going to see it. It is crazy. We might bring that. Who knows? It's just crazy. But yeah, that is going to be the Shuckle. But the biggest reason I wanted it, again, was for the rocks and for the webs, because my team right now only has the one rocker. It is the Swampert. It is kind of passive, not going to come very often, but it's a really good way for me to run an offensive Swampert or Moltres without having to worry about being too defensive and be able to just take lives with it. And that's exactly what the Shuckle can do. Next up, you're going to see here some potential picks. At this point in time, I definitely believe I'm getting 3 of these 5 Pokemon here. I believe we have like 20 points left, which is not bad at all. And I'm hoping that we can get all 3 of these because they can be really good. My decision was based on a few things here. Now, I wanted more momentum. That's really what I wanted a lot. I love Ditto. I thought Ditto was going to be phenomenal, but it kind of falls off a little bit in a format like this. The reason why Ditto is so good is because when your opponent has something that's really scary, when they have something that's terrifying for you to deal with, and they just get reverse swept by Ditto, it makes prep difficult. It forces prep, and that's what Ditto does, and I like that a lot. But we didn't go with Ditto. We ended up going with Wartortle. Now, Wartortle is cheap at 3 points. The reason I wanted this and the reason I felt like I had to take it now, ahead of something like my fighting type or something like Ditto or Dredagon, was because it gets access to Rapid Spin. That was the big thing. Look at my team. I have 1 Defogger and it's Moltres. I don't want Moltres to be forced into running Defog every week. I just don't. Now, yeah, I can go ahead and get Girder. That's definitely a possibility, but I prefer Machamp, to be honest. I'd rather have Machamp because Guts, it's faster, it just destroys team with Facade and close combat and it is so good. And with a team momentum like mine, believe me, it just destroys everything. It is so good. So that's why I decided to go with Wartortle here. Wartortle was 3 points. Not at all very much points. Really, it was good. The way I saw Chase use it in BBR Season 2 was impressive. It gets access to Flip Turn. It gets access to, I believe it gets Shell Smash now as well, which is kind of cool. It can be very scary to deal with. It's just a strong Pokemon that I'm hoping can put in the finest amount of work for us, but at the same time, it's going to be a bulky pivot for us. It's a bulky pivot, which my team loves. It's weak to 2 types, Electric and Grass. Okay, well, I have an Electric immunity in Swampert. I also have 2 4 times grass resists in my Roselia and Moltres, and I have a couple other grass resists as well. I'm feeling good. Wartortle should be solid for us. It's going to be really good to get momentum. Counter is definitely a viable set too, by the way, so be aware of that. But yeah, Wartortle is solid. That's all I gotta say about it. It is so solid for us at this position. I kind of think that it actually has a really good niche in standard drafts too. So if you have the opportunity to try Wartortle, I mean, we'll see how it goes for us this season, but I'd recommend it. So far, just looking at it in terms of other matchups, it seems really cool to use. But yeah, that is going to be our pick number 9. For round number 10, do we go with the fighting type or do we go with Ditto or Dredagon? What do we do? Well, we go with Dredagon. Now, Dredagon is here because I can't always bring the Shuckle. There's going to be some matchups where it's so bad. There are also going to be some matchups where Swampert just wants to be offensive. So now I have a rocker in Dredagon, but I also have a way to really get a lot of chip on my opponent's team. If for some reason I get caught in the Vortex. The Vortex is whether someone's U-turning or Volt switching or flip turning or baton passing around you all the time. I now have a Pokemon that has Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet to chip them down to wear them out to make so that, okay, they want to do this, but they can't. Well, that's what Dredagon does. It also gets Glare. And with my team, it's pretty slow. At this point, we have 1 Pokemon that's above base 100. No, 2 Pokemon, Zoroark and Heliolisk. That's it. So we want to have a faster team than our opponents sometimes. So with access to webs and with Glare on Dredagon, we should be fine. At the same time, Dredagon can be very good offensively too. It is slow. I believe it's only got like 48 base speed or something, or 52 base speed. But with access to Sheer Force and Mold Breaker, I believe it gets Sheer Force. Could be wrong on that, but I know it gets Mold Breaker for sure. With access to that ability, it can really break an opponent's team very well. Gets access to Scale Shot as Generation 2, don't forget that. Scale Shot to boost his speed is a thing. May need to get 2 speed boosts, but at the end of the day, if I can get speed boosts up, Dredagon can rip through a team. I'm pretty sure it does get Sheer Force, by the way, because I'm pretty sure I've run Life Orb, Sheer Force, Dredagon in the past. Regardless, it gets really good coverage options, and ideally, it can be one of the MVPs for us this season. It's just a solid Pokemon all around and can really cause a lot of problems for our opponents. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it can be that Pokemon for us. A good just status absorber, not status absorber, but a good bulky Pokemon that can take hits and dish them back. It's an amazing tank, and that is exactly what I'm hoping that Dredagon can do. At this point in time, looking at our team, we have quite a few really offensive Pokemon. You have our Gardevoir, our Swampert, our Moltres, our Heliolisk, our Druddigon, and our Zoroark, and our Berserker in a way as well. But they can all be run defensively too, with like the exception of Heliolisk. So our team is very much a MattOshea team, and I'm hoping that we can continue that with our final pick. Now, at this point in time, I did miscalculation. I wanted to get Machamp. I did. Unfortunately, I messed up the points. I think Machamp was 11 points, so instead we ended up going with Girder, which was 8. So I messed up my points. I think I was making sure I was like, oh yeah, I have 23 points left with Wartortle, Druddigon, and Girder. No, that was wrong. Oops. It is what it is. We have 20 points left with those 3. So we ended up going with Girder instead. Now, Girder does give me priority in Mach Punch. It does give me access to Knockoff. It gives me access to really powerful fighting moves and like close combat and stuff like that. And Drain Punch gives me access to Defog too, which is super nice. But it's not Machamp, and I'm a little disappointed about it, but Girder can still be really good. It has the matchups where it just auto wins because my opponents just won't like priority in Mach Punch. And if I get burnt, look, here's the other thing. In IBL, when I had this, I felt like I had to be running Guts. I had to, because it just wasn't bulky enough to take hits, and it wasn't strong enough to dish. Sorry, not Guts. What am I saying? I had to run Eviolite. Excuse me. The reason I had to run Eviolite was because I wasn't bulky enough to take hits and dish out damage. In low tier, I could be bulky enough to take hits and dish out damage and be Flame Orb Guts. So it's gonna be an experiment, but we'll see. Worst case, I make a transaction. I make a move for swapping Wartortle for maybe a 1-pointer or something and try with Girder. I believe Machamp was 10 points or 11 points. We'll have to take a look. I can try and find that on the dock right now if I can pull that up. APA Academy. We're going to try and find that right now for you guys. Draft board. Let's see. Because I don't think Machamp got drafted. Machamp was... Where was Machamp? Machamp was actually 11 points. So that's... We'd have to drop Druddigon, basically. That's the big thing. I don't know if we can do that. So maybe it's here to stay, but we'll see. I think it's a really cool Pokemon nonetheless. Great coverage as well. It gives me knockoff. I believe it is our second, or no, I think it's at least our third one, because I'm pretty sure Shuckle gets it. I'm pretty sure Girder and Zoroark get it. I'm not sure if Berserker gets it. I don't think it does, but it's decent in terms of knockoff users. There's a lot of lower tier stuff in this game, especially because it's low tier, so there might be some NFEs, which we're running a Violite, so having knockoff is going to be very nice to have, especially on a Pokemon like this. And yeah, guys, that is going to be our team for this battle. If you guys want to see this battle, that's going to be your team for this season of the APA Academy. This is our schedule here. You guys see what it is. I'm not going to read it out. It's only 8 weeks long, not the longest season at all. But I think it was just to be more something short and quick between the, I guess, hopeful announcement of maybe Gen 4 remakes. We'll see. And maybe even a change in Draft League in general. So yeah, guys, this is going to be our team. Gardevoir, Swampert, Moltres, Heliolisk, Roselia, Berserker, Zoroark, Shuckle, Wartortle, Druddigon, and Girder. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, leave a like on the video. Comment your thoughts on the team down below. I always say this, I love reading your comments, so make sure to comment down below any thoughts you have on the team, of course. And it wouldn't be a MattOshea video if I didn't say something about food. So if you guys have been here, watch the entire video, comment tortilla, okay? Tortilla down below if you're a real one. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Remember, this is a competitive Pokemon channel. If you guys want to learn something new, get better every day, this is the channel for you. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.